You have not seen what I've seen.
I have seen my share. You have not seen what I have seen!
I enjoyed Rings of Power. It was a nostalgic and entertaining series with some of the greatest computer-generated imagery in cinematic history. The good. These establishing shots. I mean, seriously, this is incredible. These costumes are stunning. By far the best part of this series is the comedic and down-to-earth friendship between Elrond and Durin. It's reminiscent of the playful back and forth between Legolas and Gimli in The Lord of the Rings. Elrond learns to set aside his elvish pride and apologizes to Durin for not being a good friend, and Durin comes to forgive Elrond despite his inherent dwarvish stubbornness. Viewers can relate to having a very close friend who wasn't there for them when it mattered.
You missed my wedding! The birth of my children, 2 of them! You cannot barge into my mountain and demand I welcome you with open arms!
And we're thereby able to live in the minds of Moria vicariously through the relatable story arc between Elrond and Durin. And unfortunately, that's all I can think of. The bad. Compared to its daddy, The Lord of the Rings, and even its stepmother in The Hobbit, Rings of Power falls vastly short of the bar set by previous Tolkien-based movies. Galadriel is easily the least compelling protagonist in modern cinematic history. Her dialogue not only is clearly not written by Tolkien, it would be an insult to middle schoolers to say her script was written in a 13-year-old's dream journal. This Walking Dead-style conversation has become more and more popular of late, where 2 characters disagree over something, then one character says something meta and walks away, leaving the other dumbfounded. Beyond the fact that this style is over freaking cooked, no one has conversations like this. It feels as though the salaries for this series was $999.9 million to the special effects team, and the writers were paid with an empty Tic Tac dispenser and a Wendy's gift card. Morfydd Clark, forgive me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, her portrayal of Galadriel feels seriously boring, because I actually counted while watching. The number of times she smiles through the entire series is literally once, and the number of times her character has an expression other than this is the horse scene and in the finale when she gets angry at Sauron. I like to give Morfydd Clark the benefit of the doubt and say that she's not this bad of an actor. The inspiration for Galadriel's character comes from the creators overcompensating and creating a strong female lead. Thus Galadriel is mean and firm and constantly slightly angry. Audiences don't resonate with such a character because no one likes people like that in real life. For an example of a strong female lead that was received well by audiences, let's look at Galadriel. Not this one, the one from 2001. It's clear that Galadriel is more powerful than any of the Fellowship who pull up to Lorien in the Fellowship of the Ring. Outside of Sauron and the wizards, she may even be the most powerful being in all of Middle-earth. Yet during her brief part in this movie, we see her go through her own mini arc. She begins by desiring to take the One Ring for herself, but then realizes that even she would not be able to resist its power.
This task was appointed to you, and if you do not find a way, no one will.
She proceeds to provide the Fellowship with resources, as it becomes clear that Frodo is the only one who can bear this burden. Her demeanor to the Fellowship is kind and supportive. Eowyn was another strong female character in The Lord of the Rings who's generally liked. She was so strong, in fact, that she killed the one who it was said no man could kill. And yet still shared empathy with Merry, who felt like he wasn't doing enough to serve, enough so that she rode into battle with him. And she also shared a deep bond with her brother and her uncle, which again added to the heartbreak of Theoden's death. A strong female character doesn't have to be a heartless, unfeeling character. Galadriel is not relatable in any way. Remember how we related to Durin and Elrond because of their very human friendship? Galadriel's primary motivation in her hunt for Sauron is to avenge her big brother. For a dead character to resonate with the audience, however, we need to know this character. Otherwise, you're just taking away something we didn't have in the first place. When Theoden, King of Rohan, died in The Return of the King, the audience was torn apart. We saw him break free of Saruman's spell and restore his noble position as King of Rohan. We saw him become a better uncle to his niece and nephew, Eowyn and Eomer, and we watched him lead the charge against the armies of Mordor, which helped save Minas Tirith. It's no wonder we were heartbroken when he died. Galadriel's brother, however, I don't even know his name. He's given 5 minutes of screen time, and no meaningful relationship is established between he and his younger sister. The show had a chance to make viewers connect more deeply with Galadriel's tremendous loss in this scene, where we learn she also had a husband. I didn't know that.
My brother. And my husband.
But it's generally ruined by a lack of exposition into either of her relationships, and Clark's unwillingness to don any other expression than this unchanging frown. And all series long, she has no character arc. Another series that's been popular in the last few years has been Cobra Kai. The acting is admittedly subpar, however, every character in this series experiences a discernible change between themselves at the beginning of the series versus the end. Namely Hawk, who goes from a timid little punk to the most metal character in the show in the course of one season. Now consider Galadriel. How has she changed between the episode 1 and the finale? She hasn't. Considering how much money this production cost, Rings of Power Season 1 was a failure. Will I watch the next season? Absolutely. Imagine what this series would look like if we were gripped by Galadriel and deeply connected with her emotions and couldn't wait to find out what she was doing next. There is a lot of room for improvement. I think Daddy Bezos needs to focus more on story and less on special effects. We may yet see a compelling arc out of Galadriel. There is still a lot of story to be told.